Hi everyone, welcome back to ITOM batch 2, ITOM batch 3, day 47. How are you doing guys today?
You're doing good, Ajay. How about you?
I'm also doing good. Good to hear. Thank you. Okay, I think let's get started. So today what we are going to be discuss, I'm going to be, we are going to be discuss about how we are making a connection from a server to the next level of server using the configuration files in the service mapping. And that's why we say service mapping is automated. If anything will be changes in that configuration file, automatically using that patterns, that particular things will be updated and our service map is up to date always. Okay, so now let me share my screen. Let me know once my screen is visible to you guys.
Yeah, Ajay.
I hope it's visible, right? Sorry.
Good morning, Ajay.
Good morning, Nasran.
Ajay, I have one question and that entry point.
Mm-hmm.
Suppose if we have found any duplicate records and when creating an entry point while searching, I mean, how do we fix that? Ajay, actually, yesterday I connected with my lead and I was asking the errors how to I mean, what kind of errors will get like mapping, and he told me that this one error.
Okay, I think there is one table CMDB. One moment, CMDB underscore CI underscore as of total list. I think I'm just forgetting the name. There is one table which is storing that relationship between your entry point on the application service and the other things, right? With entry point with business application service, right? That is, I think, I'm just forgetting the name. Service something name it is. Let me see right away. One moment. Mhm. If I'm not remembering right away, now definitely I'm going to use that ServiceNow community or documentation of the ServiceNow. I will able to get it immediately, right? So I'm not sure if the table is deprecated now or not, but that something is there where it's that's going to be stored. Let me see in different word. Service configuration table or something we called. No. This is the table. Service configuration now item, but I can I'm opening with different way, right? SVC underscore C underscore so total list, yeah. Oh, but so this is the table basically where your configuration item like entry point and which service ID or which service is connected, that will be showcasing here, right? So if you want to be getting some duplicates, if you are trying to add the same type of entry point there with the same name and everything, then it will give you error, right? So you have to be clean up this record, this table, and then you have to be also clean up from cmdb underscore rel underscore ci dot list as well, right? So both you can put the entry point in the parent and the child, both business application service and all you can put in the parent and child. If any relationship build here as well, you can delete it. And the same first is only that service configuration item associates, right? If you can delete it, that will work, right? So if you remember yesterday we have so matching, let me show you, right? So we have added one entry point, this one, right? As for EMEI dispatching service scanning services that is created here. So we need to be delete this one if you want to see, right? So search with that entry point here or that's up service ID. So see which is related to yours and you can delete that one from here. Simple. Okay, and then you can do it.
Oh.
So if
can you please like try to create one entry point under the same entry ID? Because
you want everything you want live, you don't want to do anything from your side, that will not be possible.
I will
Rather,
do. I will not just.
so
I want to be look like how it should be get based on that.
that's why I'm saying, why you guys not trying to do something from your side? Let me do right away. I'm also doing that one, but this is
Okay.
the way basically. But I'm feel you have to be tried from your side, right? That I am.
Sure.
So let me open it right away. One moment. Let's wait to load. Yeah. So this is the entry point. Where it is. Why it's loading? If I'm going to add this one again, it will be giving like that you are getting error, right?
Yep. Got it, Ajay.
Right. So if I'm going to add again, it's giving me error. But if I just go here and delete this one, now if I'm going to add, if I just refresh this one again, and if I'm going to be update again, it will entry point is updated successfully. So it will work if you delete it there. Otherwise, it will not go to allow to add you in that case, right? So this is the service configuration item association table where you need to be delete the relationships. Okay, I hope it's clear now.
Yes, Ajay.
Okay, now let's move to open the map.
And I have a question, Ajay. Like while we're creating the entry point, do we need to create an entry point for a specific customers, like only one customer? Is that possible?
One customer. Sorry, I'm not getting that question. Come again, please.
No, what I'm saying is I want to limit for only one customer for a I mean, like for the entry point. Yeah, is that possible, Ajay?
One customer. That's what I'm saying now. Can you little bit elaborate? One customer means one application service only, because whenever you are working on ServiceNow implementation, you're working for one customer only, or might be you're working for different customer on the same instance.
Oh, fine. I mean to say that entry point for one host name, specific entry point for the first.
What does that mean, one customer? That I'm trying to understand. Basically, what I'm trying to say here, you're working for a ServiceNow implementation or service mapping implementation for customer. So you will be working for one customer on one instance, right? There are not multiple customer on the one instance. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Got it.
Right? So why need it? Might be you are trying to ask we need to add only one entry point for per service maps, no, that cannot be restricted. You can add multiple endpoints, but yeah, you can restrict to add the that entry point can be added by the specific user who have service mapping admin role. Then it's okay. Otherwise, it not restricted.
Yeah, that's one day. My question was wrong. Yeah, got it.
Right. So that's can we do. Now I think let's move to the next thing. Basically, so yesterday we created this EMI dispatch scanning service, and where we have discussed about the delimited path strategy as well. But that something is a pattern, right? We can do, or we can get that information related to getting that at couple of other attributes. Now, these, if you see, when we run the discovery on it, you are not able to see any connection from Apache to Tomcat or any other devices, right? And it's why it's not available here, because there is no connection section available, right? So if I just go here, let me do one thing. There are two ways to achieve that one. Let me go down little. Yeah, it's Tomcat, which is running on the same server, ITOM SRV map, right? So let's run it. Meanwhile, it's running. We can add a CI here, right? So that will be Tomcat, right? I can search that particular CI which is running on ITOM. Yeah, right. So I can do that particular thing as well. So once I just added here, the CI will be added, and it looks like the same only, right? There's no difference, but that's manual. What is the what is the risk to creating a manual connection here is, if somehow that particular Tomcat server is replaced after 2-3 months, which is running on the same IP on same host, and they introduce new IP and the new host where the Tomcat application is running, it will not going to be update your map, right? In that case, it will be, it will not updated the service map, as well as it looks like only in that way. So in that case, we prefer to use the config file of the Apache server, where the configuration is mentioned this is connecting to this Tomcat server, which we have to be referred, right? So I'm removing this manual connection for now. Let me remove it. Okay, now that's it's come to back. Let me refresh this one. Now I think yesterday I mentioned something, right? If you see, there is some arrows, 4 changes occurred between these two, this, right? If you see, if I click here, that will be looks like that only. But if I just click here again in the next one, it will showcase me that I just added that Tomcat Apache. That will also showcase here. If I'm just not able to click here because it's very. Okay, let me do what I'm trying to say here. You can track the changes if anything happen. Let me later. It just once the timeline is increased here, right? So let's go to this particular one where we are going to be build a connection section for using the pattern designers, right? So what we have to do, let's move to the patterns. Discovery patterns. This always remember, when we are designing or going to be create a custom pattern for build section or connection section, then we have to be refer the applications, which applications to which applications we want to connect, right? So here what is application R is Apache, which is running on Windows. So using Apache to Windows pattern, we have to do modification, right? So yesterday we did this one, but yeah, let's do this one now, where we have to be create a connection section. And now let me tell you that approach which we are doing here to connecting to another device can be achievable using the both extension section you can also create, or you can create a connection section. But best practices says always go with the connection section if you want to connect a CI using the configuration files. Always go with extension section only in that case if you want to discover some more attribute related to that applications or related to that infrastructure, right? And just quick difference I will let you know here. If I just click on the Windows, or I will see Windows, here it is, yeah, Windows OS servers. You can see the connection section here in the application, right? But that connection section part will not be available on your infrastructure pattern. See, this is my Windows Server pattern. There is no connection section part, only the identification and extensions, right? So connection section is only building from your application patterns or application type of patterns for a specific application that we have to be take care, right? Now, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to be create a new connection section using this particular name. Yeah, yes, someone raise hand. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah, Jay, you can continue. I will ask it last.
Okay. Okay, I just created this one, CD Apache to Tomcat connection. So, and you know, be mindful while you are putting the name of the connection section. So if anyone is looking to that, he is able to connect that one basically, right? Now let's go to that refer debug mode first, automatic. We can use the mid server, HTTP endpoints. What is the URL? I think I already copied it somewhere. No. Always here, if you see, while you are making, while you are using, what I'm going to say, while you are going to be debug mode in you know, the 4 applications specific to service maps, you have to use an entry point to for debug mode. And while you are doing the same for extension sections, if you remember, you need to be going to be in debug mode, you required a host and the PID, right? So that's the difference basically. So using that one, we are going to in debug mode, and once we get in debug mode, we have to be do the first step is get Tomcat proxy parameters. So we need to be fetching the proxy parameters from here on this particular direct install directory path where http.conf is the file the configuration is saved, right? So let's complete this one. Yeah, that is in debug mode. Let's go to the first step. Let me use this, the parse file operation of this file. So we are going to do the parsing the file of whatever they provided to us. Retrieve file contained, oh, pulled a dollar sign in front of the variable name. That's already there. Okay, that started now. So what will be the file here? In this particular file, we are getting that informations where this example is provided, right? Proxy pass examples, this is the this that we have to be fetch it from here. So if you see the connection which is working there, it's connecting to this HTTP 198.168.0.5 on 9080 specific port, right? That we need to be fetch it from there, right? And once that is fetched, then we are going to be mapping the variables, and then we are going to be create a connection section for that one, right? So let's do first, let's try to parse that particular file. and that information is related to the file path and others, right? That will be provided by the customer to us. And once he is providing the file path to us, inside the file path, what we inside the file, what we need to be captured to make a connection, that also need to be confirmed with the customer only. He's the one who are helping us or guide us. Okay, once you pass that particular file, that information is available related to IP or the port or whatever, then using that information you have to make a connection, right? So that need to be make sure confirm with the customer to making connections. Not sure why it's not working. Let me cancel it. Let me do in the different way. It should not be give an error. Install directory have one moment. This field is required. I know what they are doing. They are using the two things basically. One is install directory, which is coming from here in the variables, and the one is the file path, which is conf dot conf dot http.conf basically, right? Let me try to browse it in different way. Let me see. So they have put it conf http.conf. Let me search for conf. I'm not sure where they have stored this one. If sometimes what will happen, we are not able to directly reach out to that path, so we can go and we can browse that path as well. So I'm trying to do that to browse that path where they have stored that configuration. Yeah, conf. Yeah, this one http conf select. Let me see. Yeah, see. So once I go there, Apache 24conf.http.conf, I'm able to get this particular file. Right now, this is a big file, and it's again, we are not sure what we need to be fetched. That's why I mentioned we need to be check with the customer what is required or what is we are going to do that, right? So here we are, that customer is mentioning control F, the proxy pass have the information, right? If you see proxy pass examples, they have that mention. So this is the information, like that way only customer also saving the information at their, I can say, at their config files as well. This is the replica of that config file, right? Now what we have to do, we have to be captured this particular things in the different variables, right? So what we have to do, we have to use the delimited pass strategy to delimited test, include lines or exclude lines. So if I put include lines, automatically that will be capturing this one. If I remove this one, proxy pass, so they have mentioned proxy pass, exclude lines, reverse. I don't want to be put reverse basically, right? So we can put that one. So if, because proxy pass is in both lines available, but what we have to do, we have to be just put reverse, which line we need to be exclude. I just put it reverse, that one. So only the one line is available now from where we have to be fetch the output, right? Then what they are saying, tables variables, there are three tables variables they are putting us. Delimiters, they are using space, position is 1 2 3. So let's do that one, right? I'm using the different path instead of they are saying, because we are not able to retrieve anything from there. So I directly go to that http.conf path where that things will be available, right? Now proxy pass reserve, that is done. That is done. Now first is a key column, the proxy path. So now let me put key underscore column. What is another variable is path underscore column. path underscore column and URL underscore column. URL underscore column. Now we have just created three. One is path key column, path column, and URL column, the three variables where we have to be that get to one, but we have to use the delimiters, right? So delimiter where we are using here the space. I think that's done. Okay, and the position is 1, 2, 3. So what position 1, 2, 3 is denoting? The position 1, 2, 3 is denoting here the key column path and the URL on which position. So proxy path, a proxy path is my key column. Examples is my, I can say the path column, and that is the URL is my URL column, right? So the same thing which they are did, we use this one. Here they also mentioned one thing we are having using the table. If I need to be put proxy params table, let me put in a specific table this one proxy underscore params. I think that is underscore table. Yeah, so they are doing in this one, right? So we have just created one table specifically where we are all capturing the all informations, but under that particular table there are three variables, which is key column, path column, and the URL column, which we are using here. Somehow this is not saving, I'm not sure. Oh yeah, done, right? So now you can see it, right? So we created three, first we created variables, and we have designed or connected with this particular table, and that we have just used the delimiter as a space, because space is that delimiter which is differentiating between all these trees. Also we can use delimiter as well, the pipe, but it's only here only the one time, that's why we cannot use it, right? So space is the delimiter which is differentiating, or which is dividing this complete sentence basically, right? And then we put it to position, so based on the positions that will create it here. Now what they are saying, after completing we just need to test it. Now test this particular one, and that result should become like that way. Key column is proxy path column is example, and URL column is this, and 4 is this Apache 24 this, right? So the same thing we are getting here, right? So proxy path examples and the URL, and then for each we are getting the particular path, right? So that's my first step complete. Now let's go to the second step, which is proxy URL. Right, so now let me go. Any questions still here from anyone? It's just a pattern build, the same things which we already did in discovery side, but I just want to showcase you how you can do that. Now what we have to do, we have to use the parse URL operation. So which is we are going to use the parse basically, right? And what we are going to do, we are going to do this one. If you remember where we have configured, where we have selected our path, path or the URL, we have configured or selected with the URL column, and this is our table where we have stored that as of now the data, right? And where we are going to be do that on the target table. This, let me copy from here. So basically what we are doing, what we are just only breaking the URL to in different values, right? So let's test this one as well. So yeah, we got path, protocol, files, port, we got it in 9080, host is this, URL is completely this. So we are able to get that information. Now let's save this. Or now let's move to the third step, which is create Tomcat connection section. Right, so when I go here, oh, it's moving here. Yeah.
So Ajay, this table and these variables which we are considering, all are existing one or it's getting new created variables on the table?
So variables is variables that is we just created for that particular pattern that
Okay,
are not existed. So whatever I used here, like key column, path column, URL column, it's up to me what I want to use here.
okay. So proxy
Okay.
params is already existing or that is also you're
Nothing,
creating any?
thing is already existing, that is we
Okay,
just created, right? So this is temporary variables, temporary table where we just store the data of these things, that's it, nothing else. That is
okay,
not available in entire anywhere.
okay, got it.
Okay, so what is our next is create Tomcat connections. So operation, we have a connect, create connections. Always remember, when we are creating this one, we should use the create connection section, right? So this create connection sections is help to provide, like, which host, which network ID, net or port region, and whatever you want to, you can do that, right? So what we are going to do, that we are going to create a connection. What is my flow? Select connection flow is application, select entry point is HTTPS. Then we have to do, so that's my application flow, but entry point is my HTTPS here, which we need to do. Then which entry point is required? Post, host, port, protocol, and the URL, right? Which we have to be provide, which we have already captured in the particular one, right? So this is my host, right? And this is my port. Now I will tell you why, this particular things we are doing here, why, how we are getting this one, and then URL. Right. If you remember in the last step, we pass the URL, right? And when we pass the URL, that URL is breakdown in between those particular informations. If I go back and let's test this one. See, so path is there, protocol is there, port is there, host is there, and URL is there, right? What we are doing, where we have saved this particular data, we have saved in this proxy URL table. Earlier, the data is saved in this particular temp table. Now, once we pass the URL, we saved in proxy URL table. Only what we are doing, we are putting proxy URL table dot host dot port dot protocol and the dot URL to get that connections, right? So let's test this one, and we must be see this result will be coming. Yeah, so it's saying application flow type HTTP is hidden no, is traffic based no, and connection will be, it's traffic based specifically no, because we are not creating connection on the traffic. We are connecting creation on the config file itself, right? So now you can see this is done. We can save this one and we can run the discovery. Now let's save this one. Let's publish this one. And even remember, if we are doing publishing of any service map or any pattern, what we need to do after that? While we are creating any custom pattern, and once we saved and publish, what we need to do after that? Anyone remember? Guys, anyone remember? If you are learning the new things and forgetting the old things, that will not work. This is the very basic step once you are creating a custom pattern. And that's why this is also not mentioned here anywhere in the documentation, right? That's we remember, because they assume that when we are going to do service mapping, that we already did all things in discovery site. If you not remember, let me go and do that. We have to be sync the pattern with mid servers, right? So let's go to the mid servers. There are two ways, as I already mentioned. You can go pattern sync to mid, okay, and you can also do from here. Let me find out where is Apache. Apache, this one. You can do it from the pattern table itself, right? It's there, synchronized with mid servers. It also will be synchronized this one. Now let's go to my service map and run discovery. So if everything is done correctly, that will create a connection automatically from Apache server to Tomcat, because we use the configuration file here, which is the path is this one. What happens, as I mentioned, if they want to replace that 192.168.0.5 but 9000, in future they only replacing this particular information ki now that https colon double slash that's changed to 182 181 183 whatever it is, right, on the specific port. So we already passing that informations using that config file, and once my discovery is scheduled automatically on couple of times, automatically that will discover the new device. If the new device is already discovered by horizontal discovery in ServiceNow. If it is not discovered, it will try to discover it. But if credentials or access issues are there, service mapping discovery cannot do anything, right? So that's why we are always saying when we are doing service mapping or discovery, we have to be set up a process in every organizations, because the discovery data or infra data is always not static always. That will be always transactional, and that should be taken care in the future as well. It's not like that key for incident we develop a form or that is done, right? Or for catalog we develop a catalog and that's done. No, it's always incremental, and we have to be design a process for the customer how that particular things will be taken care in the future by the customer related to the process of the discovery, right? So for onboarding of any CI, we need to design a process. For deboarding of any CI or a decommission of any CI, we need to design a process with customer, right? So customer will aware if any CI will be there, and if we want to run the discovery, we have to be at the discovery prereq on that machines. Okay, now if you see my pattern is done, it's configured, and we are able to see the Tomcat, right? Now let's complete the discovery and we'll showcase you some more things. We can achieve it in right click and add the CI. That's very easy. We can do that, right? But that is not, we can say, is automated service map. Always it will be a manual service map, right? So again, I'm trying to mention here, whenever we are putting an entry point, couple of things or couple of devices will discovered in service mapping automatically and make a connection. Make sure the connection which is happening there having in the correct way, or also check whatever the architecture diagram is provided by the customer connection in the same way. And the third thing you can check, basically I can say it's connecting to the correct device on the correct application, right? Then only if next level it's not discovering, then go for configuring the config file. Otherwise, what I feel, 80% service maps, automated service maps will build by automatically by service mapping discovery, because that's use the machine learning. And out of the box, a lot, if I already mentioned to in the pattern, a lot connection section is already available for each application. But that something comes, if it is new, then we have to be create a connection section. Okay, now if I just click here on the Tomcat, you can see what is the running process is, what is running command, what is Tomcat, what PID and everything related to that, what is the port, production, Tomcat, everything is there, right? On which machine it is running, again, it's a server, which is virtual machine. This is the name of it, and other things is also available here, right? So it's a automated service map, right? And now what I just want to mention here, if I just click here, see, in these particular balloons, I can say I'm clicking, I can see this service map is looks like this on 1 hour before, right? But if I click now, that's updated. So these particular balance which is available here, it's just showcasing me what changes has been done in last hours, last days or weeks or month, which we can control from here. It just clicked on hours, you are able to see this one. If I just click on the day, you can see the changes here itself, right? If you click on the week, that is again going to be do that, right? In month, there is no changes in the months, right? So that will be controlled using those particular things, right? You can also see the timings if you want to see the specific timings as well, right? So that is, I just want to be showcase about today. What any questions in that one first of all?
Yeah, Jay. So proxy, sorry. Yeah, proxy params table is as you said that it's a temporary table, and that target table which we are mentioning as proxy URL table, that is the out of box table, right? Or
That's also temporary.
that's also okay. Okay. So we can select
Okay,
any table, right? Like if it's a temporary table.
it's up to us. If you ask me, proxy URL table, let me showcase you one moment, right? Here, if I just go here and put list, there is nothing. Okay, so that's our temporary tables, or it's up to us where we want to save the data, right? If I put my name here as well, Ajay dot something, that also going to be store the data.
Okay.
Nothing changed. This is just I follow the documentation, will correlate that one. That's why I did it. Otherwise, instead of this one where we have just putting proxy param table, I can put my name Ajay Kumar, or I can put my channel name tag track with age or whatever. Right, but what I say, we need to use the tables and that particular things in that way. If anyone is looking on the pattern, he will understand what we are capturing here. So that's why they put it proxy param tables, because that we start with the proxy and we are fetching that information from here, right? And these are the key columns, basically path columns and the URL columns, which we are fetching here. In the same way, we are putting that now it's earlier is params means parameters, and now we are just putting in the URL. So that's why I put it proxy URL table. That's it, nothing else. Okay.
Okay, Ajay, and before like before designing our this connection pattern, so we also have to ask our infra team like to give the required access for config files.
Yes, that's mandatory. Now, what access you required? You required this config file first of all from the customer. Also, on this particular file, read only access should be provided for that discovery user which you are using here. So our discovery user for Windows machine is, if you remember, we created one credentials yesterday or might be day before yesterday, right? So that is the credentials which we have to use. Okay, and that credentials should have read access on this file. If we don't have the read access on the configuration files, that will not work, because end of the day we are reading the data using that credentials only. And if you remember, that is my prereq that is in my prereq list already, which I showcased you earlier.
Yeah, got it, Ajay. And also one more thing, Ajay, like do we have any concept of dynamic endpoint in service map?
Dynamic endpoint, I have not yet. No. If
Okay, that
something
was a
use,
yeah.
I am sure, but I have not heard about the dynamic endpoints.
Even I'm
Oh,
not sure, but that question was asked during one of the interview, and when I asked in reverse, like if you can give us more detail, then they rejected in between.
dynamic endpoint in, let me see. But if it is a dynamic, I'm not sure how. This is dynamic application services. Dynamic service method. That's something different, right? It's not dynamic endpoint about, right? So if I see what are the dynamic application services, we can use this one. Populate an application service using dynamic service method. So this is something different, right? It's not about the endpoint. It's just, I think I need to be also explore. I have not explored this one. This is something recently introduced in the Yokohama, if I'm not wrong, or by the last release itself, right? It's not earlier, but
Okay.
I think you can explore it from the documentation and you can go it, right? I'm
Yeah,
also
yeah,
mentioning,
I'm exploring. Yes, yes.
yeah, no issues. Okay, any other questions from anyone else?
Hi Ajay. Um, can we map a service without configuring any discovery pattern?
Yes, we can do that. 100% without doing anything we can do that. Now I already showcased on the first day itself, while we are I showcase you the manual creation of the service maps, right? So let me give you one more example here. Let me open cmdb underscore ci underscore win underscore server dot list. Also showcase you. Let me go to my test service. Without doing anything you can do whatever you want, right? So I showcase you this one. I created to this one, right? So this is my entry point. I added one server, then another server, and I added to database. That's completely manual, right? If someone asks me, let's create one add CI, I can do that, right? So okay, what you want to be take it? Let me take it to network example. Right, let me see whatever the available in the network. Oh, nothing is available here. I think let me take network gear. Everything is available here. Yeah, let me select this one. Let's see. This just will be added in, see, that's it. It's a manual one, but we cannot rely that one. The simple thing. Whatever you want to do, you can do that, right? And also one more thing. If you want to add a connection here as well, you can do that. Manually add a connection. Now let me showcase you one another thing as well. If I go, yes. Let me copy HTTPS 192.168.0.5. Here we are. Okay. The URL is HTTP 192.168.0.5 0.5/9080 port, if I'm not wrong. 192.168.0.5 9080, right? Host is this. That's it. We can add a connection with that particular anti-point host name. Okay, let me remove this. Host is not mandatory here, right? So if we have a URL and if we don't want to create a patron, we can also directly connect with the URL as well,
Got it, Ajay.
right? So that's achievable. It's a complete manual, but only the thing is it's not reliable because that's not updating based on your requirements. It should manually, it doesn't mean, but there is no use of it if you come here and manually updating the connections in future, right? So it's just like a normal architecture diagram which you created on PPT, and the same thing you have just created here in ServiceNow. Only just refer the manual connections only when the any CI is not discovered by ServiceNow or not in the customer data centers, but customer is saying, yes, I need to showcase the impact on that one so I can feel it or I can understand there is some impact. So then case you can go create a custom CI in the CMDB and add it as a manual, but that will only help you out when we are getting a alert or some notification on that particular CI from any system. Then only you're able to understand the impact. But if just want to showcase on the map, you can just click and add the CI simple, right? Also, there is one more thing here is uh, you can open, sorry, you can open anything in dependency map, right? So whatever CI you are able to see, you can open the dependency map from directly here. You can remove the CIs here. Also, if you want to see remove the connections, you can see how the connection is working. You can remove this connections from here as well. If I will showcase you, let me, yeah, that you can do it from here. It's completely manual endpoints. You can see right hand side, right? So it's manual, but if I go again back to my this time, because it's taking some time to be connecting that one, let's go here. So this is the network path basically showcasing here. If you see the Apache server, this took exam connecting to the examples, resume discovery, mark boundary. I just want to showcase this one. So if you see here, and if you found no, I don't want to go to next level after this next level, you can click on the mark boundary, and the connection will be stopped here. Means that is stopped now, right? So it will not go to the next level. Whatever this you feel it's not the correct, and you can put it a mark boundary there. If you want to connecting with existing services, create a new service from here, you can do that as well, right? Just click the name, group, critical, whatever you want, just do it. So lots of things there, but you just need to be explored. But the main thing is how you are creating a application service, and then what entry points you can use, then how you can modify or create the patterns in it, and then how you can send it for review or actions, or how you can do that couple of things from there. And whatever errors you are having here, that will be visualizing here on discovery messages, and this error will be looks like the same only. There is nothing difference in the errors. Like discovery errors we are getting related to the patrons, related to the credentials, related to the access, the same type of error will be for service mapping always.
Got it.
I think that's all for today. If any other questions from anyone, please feel free to ask. Tomorrow we are going to be discussed about the tag-based service mapping, and I think within next 1 or 2 days we will wrap up the complete ITOM training. Any other questions from anyone else?
Yeah, can you share the lab in the chat? That will be
Oh, yes, yes. I think I don't. You can also download it from the ServiceNow Service Mapping Fundamental course, but you don't want to try it from your side, guys. That's why I'm always saying you need the cooked food, right? Tried it. Go log into ServiceNow Now Learning. Why you don't want to be logged in? Everything is available there. You don't have the access to Now Learning?
No, no, I have.
Then why you depending on me? I can share it. I don't have any issue. Right? But just go, log in, start the course, do the things from there. If you are doing with me, just only spending 1 hour from your side as well, I'm 100% sure when you are coming to me, you have lots of questions to ask. Because I know that one, because till that time you are not trying, you don't have any questions, you feel everything is going in the flow. So make sure you tried it. Yes, Michael.
Yeah. So this now learning course, can you get it on an individual basis if you don't
Yeah.
get it through? Okay, but it's not free, right?
Right. So, Michael, now currently in the current time, now learning courses are free for individual IDs as well. Means you can register through your Gmail ID, and that course is free there. You can go do it. Earlier, that course is around 300 or $400. The course itself, certification is a different part, but the course is free now from your
Wow,
individual
great.
ID as well. For discovery, service mapping, event, or there are a couple of other courses are free. So you can
Really?
All
register
right.
your Gmail ID and tried it.
So, Ajay, I
Mhm,
bought the course in 2023 and I
mhm,
finished, I did not do the all the training in the course, but
mhm.
somehow I got my voucher, but I never used it. So when I tried to log in again to see if I can use the training for this, your training, I couldn't find it. So I'm not sure how,
Voucher will
why.
be voucher will be available for 1 year only. So if you
Yes,
did
it expired last year.
right,
Last
so
year.
it is in 24, might be you just need to be checked is the correct ID is tagged with your now learning account, right? So basically, if you are able to see my screen, voucher will be connecting to your web SSR account. If I go to my here, if you see my preferences there, you have to be add your web SSR ID, right? Because I've not added anything because I don't want to update my certifications here, but you have to add your web SSR ID, and based on web SSRs, you are able to see your vouchers if you have it. Like, I did couple of like discovery event, hardware asset management, and this earlier one, right? So that I just already did it. Right, so you can see it here, but you just need to be mapped with the correct web SSR ID, that particular things basically.
Okay.
And right, so and I just mentioned, yeah, go ahead, please.
I said thank you.
Okay, and what I just want to mention here, like event, okay, let's do discovery example, right? So whenever you are referring any course, search for discovery or whatever you want to do it, and go for the discovery fundamentals or discovery anything, but it should be on demand, right? If you go for on demand, now you can see, and if I just want to resume or start, you can see nothing is there. Earlier that cost will be visualizing here, right? So you need to be provide a cost to learn the course itself, but now that particular time that's free. Okay, so you can try it. I hope I'm able to respond your all questions. So are we good for today?
Sorry, one more question, a follow-up question on that. So if I search for discovery, does it cover service mapping too, or I need to search for service mapping separately for the course?
For separately. For discovery, separate course, service mapping is separate, and event management is separate, and you have to be enrolled for all these courses separately.
Okay, so I should look for the on-demand, right? Not just the fundamentals.
On demand. It
All
should be
right.
fundamentals, but it should be on demand.
All right. Okay.
Right. So on demand, you will get a simulator labs, or that that labs which I just showcasing you here as well. So you can follow those things, and you can learn a lot of things in that instance as well. That some capabilities also not available on your PDI as well.
All right. Thank you.
So you can do it from there. I hope you are good for today then. Okay, guys, thank you so much. Have a good day. We'll connect tomorrow and we'll discuss about the tag-based service mapping, and then we'll take one more session or 1 or 2 sessions related to the CSDM, and we'll close the particular things now. Till the time, have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks, Ajay.
Bye-bye. Thank you.